Hey Tommy, I'm a bit grumpy.
Oh yeah, Dad, what are you grumpy about today?
Well, because we're driving this. It's the brand new 2024 Audi Q8 e-tron.
Yeah, and I am not grumpy because I think that this is a great vehicle. It has a lot of incredible features and kind of quality for the money. And in this video, we're going to do a back and forth Roman grumpy review, and we're going to see if the Q8 e-tron is in fact a great car or maybe needs some improvement.
All right, let's start with the styling, right? Now, here's the thing, Tommy. When electrification became a thing, right, automakers had the ability to start completely from scratch. In other words, a brand new ground-up design. But what did Audi choose to do? They chose to keep going with the Matushka nesting dolls. So to me, this looks like every other Audi, both inside and outside, and yet it's electric. Now I know that for some people who are conservative, that makes sense, but for me, I would love to see the e-tron be exciting, be electric, you know, have a design language that says, I am something completely different, not I am just another Audi.
Well, what I love about the design of this Q8 e-tron is that it's not too out there, right? It's not screaming, I'm electric, I'm green. It just looks like a high-end premium crossover. And they did improve the styling for 2024. We've got this black silhouette that surrounds this inverted grille. Of course, you've got the Audi logo there, e-tron along the front in this cool kind of shiny black finish. I'm curious about the longevity of that, but I do think that some of the tweaks to the front end have improved it. These sharp digital matrix light patterns are really, really cool. And then of course you've got these air curtains which feed air around the wheels.
Wow, so they put the word e-tron on the front of it, huh? That's what you're excited about.
Well, I think it's a good looking car. I think it's a little conservative, but I think it's pretty handsome.
All right, well, let's look under the hood. And do we have a frunk?
Yeah, we do. So unlike some of the Mercedes EQS product or EQ products where you can't see,
You can't open.
yeah, you can't open as a user of the hood. The Audi does let you see some of the high voltage components, and then you've got a front cubby or a frubby with your included level 1 and level 2 charger there. It's nice that they give you dongles for both level 1 and level 2, so you've got a couple of options to charge this car up. And it does have a large battery, Dad. We're looking at 106 kilowatt hour. It's like 114 kilowatt hour gross pack, which propels this vehicle up to about 285 miles on a charge. If you get the Sportback model, up to 300.
Now, this has the optional package that gives you better AC charging, which gives you not one, come on, open up, side to charge on, but what else?
Your mic has flipped.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
but what else?
Yeah, it gives you two. So on the front quarters, you actually have one plug on each side. So depending on, you want to close that side there, Dad?
You can't open it?
There we go. I got it. Depending on where your level 1 or level 2 plug is, you can charge it on the left or the right. And then if you want to DC charge the e-tron, it's on the driver's side only. And they've also improved the charge rates for 2024. So the peak has gone from 150 to 170, but e-trons have a really, really good charging curve. They hold high rates of charge deep into the pack. So even though they're not that impressive on paper, in the real world, they're pretty good road trippers.
Let me show you what else makes me grumpy, and it's on the inside of the car. So let me open up the car, and let me show you this issue right here, and that is this gear selector. Now, it's kind of cool, right? It's kind of a powerboat-like toggle, but this doesn't actually toggle. What you have to do is you have to use this little bit, push it forward to go forward, backwards to go back, and push the little P button to park. And I'm like, I'm really tired of manufacturers reinventing the wheel that doesn't need to be reinvented, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd get used to it pretty quickly. You know, as these automotive journalists, we only have these cars for a short time, so things like that can get frustrating. But if you own this car for an extended period of time, you probably wouldn't think about it.
I don't buy that argument you get used to it. I don't want to get used to it. Do I have to get used to, like a Tesla, not having a stock for a turn signal? I don't want to get used to it. I mean, some things are just perfect. It's taken 100 years to develop it. Why change it?
Well, the good news is this car still has stock, Dad. Rear seat, pretty good space, got decent legroom, and actually really good headroom. So if you've got, like, you know, the Sportback cuts back a little bit in the back, but pretty good headroom in the back seat of this one. You got dual USB chargers, and I like this kind of beige premium material they use with these orange accents. Adds a nice little touch of color on the inside. Really feels like everything on the inside of this car is built out of one piece of granite. So all the button switches and panels are super well attached to every other button switch and panel. And then as we come around to the rear, e-tron is rated up to 4,000 pounds of towing capacity, which is good, Dad, not bad. And then where's the button? Oh my goodness, there it is. Pop that open. good trunk space, really impressive trunk space. This is a 2-row vehicle. You can fold the seats down like that. And then underneath there, you've got a lot of additional storage. And then your small space saver spare, which is better than a lot of electric crossovers that don't give you a spare anymore at all.
You know, I agree with everything you said except for the back seat room. I think it's pretty tight. I
Yeah?
mean, this is a Q8. It's not a Q4. It's not a Q5. It's a Q8. I should be palatially comfortable back here. And let me sit back here behind you. And I gotta say, Tom, you look at my headroom. It's barely there. So barely enough legroom, barely enough headroom. And this would be fine in a Q4 or Q5. But in a Q8, I just find it too tight. I think it should be at least a couple inches bigger.
Well, let's take this thing for a ride, Dad, and
right.
see what it's like to drive. So, Alex, if you want to hop in the back seat. So, the interior of the Q8 e-tron is very angular, so everything kind of hits at sharp angles. You've got kind of this interesting multi-dimensional dashboard where your screens stick out further than your vents. And then we have a 3-screen setup here with our main infotainment MMI screen. We've got a screen down here for climate control, and then another screen for your digital instruments, all of which are very configurable. I do wish that the climate control was analog. The digital's okay, but I much prefer the analog. You really don't like the shifter?
No, I don't like the
Boom!
shifter.
Look at that. Look at the action on that. Zoom. Woo!
I like the clicky controls though.
I think it's great.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, what's nice is you actually get forced feedback from the screen, and it gives you a little audible click when you engage the different buttons. That's really well done. Look at this. Ready? Whew. It goes in and out of gear like no other, Dad.
Yeah.
Shoo!
Yeah. Try to do that when you're, coming in late at night from a long night of work, and you're not thinking,
Whew, ha.
Yeah, sure.
Fast.
Sure.
Do you have the
you know what else I hate? Let me show you this. And this has been a problem with Audis for a long time. You see that right there? Why don't you stop for a second?
Yep.
So you see how that little edge touches against that little edge. So when you open it like this, no biggie, right?
Yep.
But if you open it like this, I don't want to do it. You can catch your skin in between those two bits of metal.
Wow, what a specific problem you have pointed out there, Dad. We do have a Model T in the garage if you want to drive something that's a little bit more your age demographic clearly here. But I find it to be pretty easy to use. We do have, of course, the full landscape style screen here with all of you can switch it out, the Google screens, which are really, really good. Easy to use. I find the screen to be pretty snappy in general, pretty easy to navigate. You have these colored panels. Ooh, it's not making my snappy argument here look at me very good, but color panels to navigate between the screens.
I just find it to be very cold and sterile, right? It's just almost too perfect in some ways.
The interior is a little sterile. It's a little bit stark in here. I could use more color than just a little orange on the
And speaking of that Model T, at least you have a beautiful view of the world. Here you're sitting in a car that has a very high cowl line, right? So you kind of feel like you're looking out these little slits out the side, out the front. There's just not a lot of glass to make you feel like you're, in the world as opposed to in a cocoon.
What I do like about this car, the ride quality, we do have the air suspension and the adaptive sway system and all that, and it just irons out the bumps. You get such an impression of weight and mass with this car that it feels very solid on the road. It's like driving a 1980s Mercedes product. It's just a block of iron going down the road.
Hey, I put the Monroney by your left foot there.
Oh, yeah.
Grab it out and I'll let people know how much this guy costs.
Yeah, check out the pricing on this.
So it starts at, get this,
mid-70s, right?
$4,000, but it's got the $10,400 Prestige package.
Yep.
Plus, it's got the Launch Edition, $2,750, an AC charging package, $1,850, rear side airbags, $400, Daytona Gray Pearl is $595, and of course, Flint Gray interiors included for a grand total of $91,590, made in Belgium.
Yeah, that's quite a lot of money, but it is a very premium experience. So we're going to do 0 to 60 here on this road. Come to complete stop. We're in dynamic mode, sport mode engaged. We've got our Solo DL performance timer. Are we ready?
Yep, go for it.
Here we go. And full throttle. It's got a little boost mode here. Pretty good push of acceleration now 30, but a pretty mild launch. That was 5.7 from 0 to 60.
Yeah, that's a problem because it competes with Teslas, right?
Yep.
That'll do, for this kind of money, probably in the mid-3s or lower.
Well, mid-4s, I think, for the Standard X.
I think it's
you don't think it's
no,
mid-threes now for the standard
no,
X?
no.
They just dropped the price on the Model X by a huge amount of money, and now you can get a base X for about $80, which is less than this car as configured.
I think this also competes with like the new Cadillac Lyric.
Yeah, right.
That might be another
Genesis, right? The electrified Genesis
Yeah.
products.
Maybe-
So it's a pretty competitive segment now.
Maybe even the Rivian R1S.
Yeah, right. I agree.
That one's going to be like, gosh, low 3 seconds, 0 to 60.
Yeah, with the quad motor setup.
Yeah.
Now this is a dual motor setup. It's more push from the rear motor. It's a revised rear motor. You got new coils in the back there, more efficient, more powerful. And I really do say one of the nice things about this car is the driving experience. I mean, if I shut up for a sec, super well insulated from the outside world. You're in your own little electric bubble, and it's a very premium driving experience. I just wish you're right that the interior was a little bit more comfy. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know where we're off to.
I don't know, you're going back to the office. We got to go back to the trailhead. I think the Chinese are coming, especially in Europe, not so much in America. It's much harder to start up here. And, with some of the cars like the Lotus Elantra, yeah, the brand new one. I mean, the interiors are just out of this world in terms of the material use, in terms of the colors, in terms of kind of just the stylishness. And this is just it's just kind of a sea of gray and black. I know you've got, less gray seats and a little bit of like copper stitching, but it's just very, I kind of feel like, this is very somber, too somber.
Yeah, it is a little somber as we touched on, but I don't think it still is a premium place to be. I mean, all the touch points, you got suede on the doors, you got this leather material.
So here's a problem that Audi has, right? Once upon a time, Audi was a cool kid in class, right? It's a car that everybody wanted. This is maybe 10, 15 years ago. But then Tesla came and took that crown away from Audi by kind of reinventing what cool is. The problem with cool is by the time you figure it out, you're no longer cool, right? And Audi, instead of kind of answering that challenge, has just kept going in the same direction, and I don't think it's working any longer.
Well, keep in mind, 2024 is a fairly mild refresh on the e-tron, which has been out for some time now, right? This is not a brand new architecture, brand new platform. But I think it still is often overlooked, I think especially with the charging curve performance and just the driving experience, right? On paper, it's not that impressive on any of the metrics by 2024 standards, but the experience, I think, is elevated over a lot of its competition. That's cool. You like the digital a full instrument cluster with the nav?
Yeah, I think that was cool like 5 years ago when it came out, or whenever it was.
And the stoplight countdown where it tells you how many seconds till it turns green?
Yeah, that's cool, and I think that's an advantage that Audi has that some of the other manufacturers can't compete with. But in general, Audi needs to figure out what it means to be an Audi in this new world of electrification. And it's not the same Audi that, they were building 10, 15 years ago. And that's kind of where I think we're at right now, except making it electric.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree. I think that it is an aging platform, but I still think it's a comfortable, solid, luxurious place to spend time. As competitors start to hit the market, like the Lyric, like the R1S, it is becoming slightly less attractive, but it still is a very cohesive package.
And I think if you look at the resale market, you'll see that my point is valid, because old e-trons are just a bargain right now. They're just, you can pick them up for anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000.
No, you can't get an e-tron for 20. The cheapest one you can get is going to be mid to high 30s. But you're
That's
right.
a car that cost $80,000 when it was new.
Yeah, but mid 40s to mid 50s for a used one, it's pretty typical. And I do think it's a hell of a used car. But you're
I
right.
agree. I think it's a hell of a used car.
As a new car at $91,000, it is.
But isn't that kind of the market speaking and saying, hey, we don't think that the value is there. Even though I agree with you, the quality is most certainly there. Well, so let's wrap this up, Tommy.
Oh yeah.
Let's head on out and kind of finish this up.
So what I would say is that if this car lived in a bubble, it would be excellent. I think it's a fantastically built car, very comfortable, offers pretty good range and pretty good charging, but compared to some of its competition like the Tesla and of course the Rivian, it's lagging a little bit.
Yeah, look, so Audis have always been elegant, stylish, in some ways quick machines. The build quality, like you said, is always been exceptional, and of course one of the rubs against Tesla is that their build quality is not very good. I mean, you look at these lines, right?
Panel gaps are perfect,
and
yeah.
they're absolutely perfect all the way down. But perfection also can be boring, Tommy, and I think that's where Audi is at right now. So that's why I'm a little bit grumpy, because I love the brand. You know, I want them to succeed, and I wish they had taken this moment to reinvent what it is to be an electric Audi, as opposed to kind of just doubling down what they've been doing that I'm not sure has been working for the longest amount of time now.
Well, let us know what you think in the comments section below. This has been Tommy.
And Roman saying thanks for watching, and remember, check out alltfl.com, because we have 8 YouTube channels with a lot of different content and a lot of different reviews. We'll see you guys next time. Ciao.